Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host Jennifer, and today we are doing a head-to-head competition between Schoppel's Zauberball, Stark 6, and Wacky Sake. Now, why are we doing a head-to-head competition? I don't know. I was curious. I really like the Zauberballs. I think they're a beautiful yarn. I really enjoy working with them. And what I wanted to do is do a little head-to-head comparison between these two yarns because they are similarly wrapped in the way that the balls are formed. And so I thought, well, what are they close? Or are they similar to the same yarns? So the Zauberballs I have found online, and I have found them in local yarn shops. And they have ranged in price from $16 to $30 for the Zauberball. And it really depends on the colorway, and it depends on where you're getting it from. And these are beautiful yarns. They are, move that out of the way. They are 75% superwash. They are 25% nylon. These are meant for socks, but they make beautiful, beautiful projects. Let me grab something. I made a scarf out of it on the knitting machine. We're gonna do a crochet swatch today, but I wanted to show you, this is a Zauberball. This is knit up. It is absolutely stunning. It works, it's very nice and fancy feeling around your neck. It's got beautiful drape. You do not have to make this into, and this has been washed. So it's got a nice little fuzz to it that has been created. This is a sock weight yarn, but I just threw it in the knitting machine. I made this beautiful little scarf. It's soft. It's beautiful. It plumped up a little bit with the washing, but it has like a marled effect to where there's two, and you can see it in this one. It's two strands that they're variegated with the same colors, but they're twisted, so you'll get different colors. Okay, so you'll get like the pink solid, the pink with the white, the pink with the green with the white, two whites together, two pinks together, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it lines up that way, and it makes this beautiful striping color. This one does the same thing. The Wacky Sake is a little bit different. This is more of a patterned yarn, so it's not two strands held together, it's just one variegated strand, but the variegated strand makes like this cool patterning, which I really like. So there's a difference with that. I'm not going to say one is better than the other because they are different types of yarn. One is more of like a fading ombre effect. One is very much a pattern. So they are different when it comes to that, but I really just wanted to compare the two because the prices are a lot different. So the Wacky Sake, I paid $9 for this. This one, not that one. This one I paid $9 for on universal.com. I don't know if they're doing away with this or if I caught a sale. I just know that I paid $9 for this one, and I don't remember exactly how much I paid for the Zauberball. I got this on webs.com, but these are also available these are both available in local yarn shop stores. And I know that I paid probably about $20 for the Zauberball. And yeah, so there is a difference in price. When it comes to feel, the Zauberball is a little toothier. It feels a little more wool, whereas the Wacky Sake is a little smoother, but the Wacky Sake is not the same fiber content either. It's 50% superwash merino wool and 25% bamboo and 25% nylon. So the 25% bamboo makes this a much smoother yarn, and you can see there's a little bit more of a sheen to it. Neither one are soft because these are meant to be sock yarns, but as you can see, it does make beautiful projects. Like, this is a nice feeling scarf, and the wool helps it to be breathable. Wool is also antifungal, anti-mold, I believe, and so there's like a lot of benefits to having something made out of, especially a nice superwash wool. And like I said, this has been washed. I hand washed it, and I hung it up to dry because stretch was not an issue because it was a scarf. Like, if it stretched out a little bit, it's a scarf. But I hand washed this. Hand washing is not a big deal to me. If it's a big deal to you, you're not going to like this. Either one of these yarns. Either one of them. Because I'm positive they are both hand wash. Alright, well no, I guess machine wash. You can machine wash this one. I don't machine wash my wool, ever. Where's the washing instructions? A lot of this is in German, so I have no idea what they're saying. Oh, there it is. So yeah. You wash it with cold water. Lay flat to dry for both of them. Don't iron. So, there you have it. Alright, so I wanted to bring these. I just wanted to do a comparison for my own benefit. And I'm like, okay, well, since we're doing a comparison, I want to do a little swatch. And I want to, we might as well film it, right? Now, you don't have to outer pull from this. You can center pull. But I figure if I outer pull, I can rewrap it and put it back on the shelf without messing it up too much. And I just grabbed the smallest hook that I had. It's a G hook, so 4 millimeter. I'm sure that I have smaller hooks somewhere. I have micro steel hooks, but I don't go much smaller than a 4. Even with a sock yarn, I don't go much smaller than a 4. Unless I'm knitting, then I go to like a 3.5. But that's not really necessary. So I started off with a Zauber ball. I'm just going to do a swatch like I normally do. I have never knit with this yarn. So this is going to be a first for us. And because I have skin problems, and I say this as a disclaimer in all of my review videos, I am way more sensitive to the feel of things on my hands. I break into blisters. If you see, there is a healing up wound here. There's also a scar behind it. I have scar tissue on my fingers from wear and tear on just things. And chemicals in yarns also cause blisters. And like, I just have a lot of issues with my skin. And I say all of that because I am a lot harder on yarns in my reviews than your average Joe, because I have a lot more conditions of things that I can and cannot use. So for me, I can absolutely use wool. I cannot use alpaca. My skin don't like alpaca. My nose doesn't like alpaca. Why? I have no idea. Don't understand it. I can't use some acrylics. Some wools feel like I'm crocheting with barbed wire. So this basic wool, unless it's superwash, can't use it. So this one, mildly scratchy on my fingers. Not enough for me not to want to use it, but it will cause me to have to use lotion frequently, and it will cause me to have to take frequent breaks because it's not a soft, smooth, slick yarn. It does have a bit of tooth to it, and over time it can actually do this type of damage to my skin if I use it for too many hours. That being said, this is totally one of my favorite yarns. I think it's beautiful. I usually throw it in the knitting machine, but I have no problem with crocheting something like this. I think we kind of all get stuck with, and I know I do, and a lot of other people do as well. I've heard them say it. We buy these fancy yarns, and we don't know what to do with it because these yarns are very much geared and promoted towards knitters. Like, oh, you should buy this if you're a knitter. And little yarn shops are very frequently like geared towards catering to knitters, not crocheters. And I don't understand that at all. I went into a little yarn shop in Richmond, Virginia. It's called Knitting Bee. And I really liked that when I was greeted and she was telling me about the yarns. One of the yarns I purchased, she actually showed me a crochet sample. And she showed me how that yarn actually looks better with crochet than with knit. And I was shocked by that because she didn't know if I was a knitter or crocheter. She didn't know me from Adam. And she showed me the crochet swatch. And I was like, okay, well, it's done. That has to be crocheted. And I think it's very important for like little LYSs or channels like myself to show them crocheted, as this is so gorgeous and rich colored. I'm in love. It's like the green is mixed with navy blue and then more of a true blue. It's so pretty. I might have to knit or crochet with this one. And even when you go into the stores, like you see a lot of samples are like knit samples because those can be easily machine replicated. You pop it on a machine, it's like, you got a little knit sample. And then you look at it and you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that with crochet? Well, I'm here to tell you, crochet with your fancy yarns. Buy yourself some fancy yarn once in a while and just make yourself something to wear. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can make a hat. You can make a scarf. You can make a cowl. You can make fingerless gloves. All of those things are tutorials here on this channel, by the way. And they're easily adjustable for different yarns. You can change your yarn type. You can change the sizes. I generally tell you exactly what you can do with these yarns. This would make a beautiful anything. Hat, sweater, scarf, shawl. This would make a beautiful top. But because it is wool, I'm going to wear a tank top under it. Because, I mean, long-term exposure to wool on my skin. We already covered that part. Oh, this is so pretty. It's working up like a dream. It's not splitty. It's not rough on my hands. I mean, there's a toothiness, and like I already said, it might cause issues long-term, but it's working up so pretty. Oh, I got a little snag. I really like this yarn. But I already knew that I liked it going in. Now the true test is going to be the Wacky Sake. Sucky. There's a video game that my kids play called Luigi's Mansion. And one of the doctors speaks, I'm guessing Japanese because it's a Japanese game. And he always says, Suki. I have no idea what that means, but I laugh every time the doctor says that. And I repeat it. Oops. I like the way they do these tags because you slide them in and they just come right off the, and then I can put it back on when I want to. I am popular today. Actually, I'm popular every day. My phone is constantly going. I'm going to pull off some so I can work it without having to keep pulling. Alright, now we're moving on. This was the Zauber ball. There we go. This one is the Wacky Sake. Really, my light is too dim. The past couple times I've done a review, my brain is telling me this feels thinner. This feels a lot thinner. It's telling me to work in the round. And I don't know why my brain is doing that. This feels a lot thinner. So we got 100 grams, 462 yards. This one is 150 grams, so that's hard to, unless I get the calculator out. 400 meters. It does feel, the Wacky Sake feels thinner. By a lot. This feels like thread. This feels more like lace than sock. And it feels like there's less definition in the stitches, which is why I feel like I'm struggling to see where I'm supposed to go in at. I love the patterning. I don't love the way this is feeling in my fingers. Yeah, see, I'm having trouble getting into the stitches. In case you can't tell, my voice is right next to the microphone because I'm right next to the camera. and I'm really close to be able to see the stitches. Try double crochet. Now, one of the things I always have said, if you're going to do a patterning yarn like this, oftentimes you will want to use single crochet if you're going to crochet with it, because otherwise the patterning is not at all going to come out. It's going to look just like weird and wishy-washy. But I'm doing a swatch, and so I like to try different stitches to test out the yarn, not just the patterning. If you really want to see the patterning, you're going to have to do knit. And by knit, I mean you're going to have to do the stockinette. This one does feel slightly less toothy than the other yarn. Just slightly though. It feels softer in the ball than it does working it up. It feels kind of dry, as does the other one. They both feel a little bit dry, like they're going to suck the moisture. Battery died, or so I was saying before my camera cut me off. They feel dry, like they're going to pull moisture out of your hands. So if you have skin problems, just make sure you have some lotion on hand. And that should solve your problems. You'll probably hear the girls talking in the background. My niece is really loud. Her voice carries. I like this purple color. I actually don't mind any of the colors that's in this yarn. I think this is really pretty. I'm going to do one more row, and I want to look at the way the color patterning looks on the tag, and then look at the way it is working up on my swatch. Now, a lot of sock yarns are rough, and they're made from a very I don't want to say like scratchy wool, but a lot of sock yarns I've noticed are like, especially the wool ones, Peyton's, the Peyton's sock wool or Peyton's Croy sock feels the absolute worst to me. Like, it feels really rough and scratchy, and I don't like it at all. These are not like that. They're not soft, because sock yarn is not meant to be silky. It's just not. We're more worried about, when we're hand knitting a sock, we're more worried about wear and tear than we are about whether it feels smooth or not. And we're worried about whether our socks are going to stink. And while this is not silky smooth, it's got like you can wear it as a wearable. All right, so we have the two swatches. Zauber Ball, Wacky Sake. Right now, like I said, the Zauber Ball is definitely thicker. You can tell by looking at the stitches. This is more see-through, like you see through the stitches, whereas this is a little more dense. That tells you that this yarn, the top yarn, is a little bit thinner. The universal yarn is a little bit thinner. Even though they're both technically a sock weight yarn or a super fine yarn, one is definitely thicker than the other. They both worked up, they feel the same. In the ball, the Wacky Sake feels softer because you can feel the bamboo, whereas the Zauber Ball feels a little more toothy, but worked up, they feel the same. Except for the thickness, the more thickness here. Which one would I buy again? Both of them. Which one do I recommend? Both of them. The Zauberball, I really love the way the color fades into one another. I like the way it fades. I like the way the color changes. The Wacky Sake is a little more sharp breaks and like the color effects. And see how we have the blue and the white here? It would look more like this if you knit it. Whereas it's just kind of like jagged speckles. Neither one is bad, but it just looks a little different in crochet versus in knit. And if you wanted it to look more like this, just do single crochet. Single crochet will change the way it looks. But yeah, so this part right here looks like it's probably right here. Although not really. Maybe right here. Nope. I don't know. Definitely ain't right there because there's no purple. Maybe it's backwards. Nope. But anyway, it's pretty. I think they're both good yarns. I had a lot of fun actually playing with them, and there we go. Move my light a little bit. Hard to see that when it's down there because it's like, oh, but then you bring it up and like, look at that color. Isn't that gorgeous? It's so rich. So I think I'm going to leave these swatches on here and I'm just going to reattach everything because I like having a swatch on some of my yarns so that I can get an idea of what it works up like, so I can see that, hey, it also gives me ideas of what I can do with it if I can see the swatch. See if I can reach the strap. You can also center pull in these balls. It's not that difficult to center pull. And most times I will center pull. There, now we have our swatch attached. And our tag is back on there. So yeah, I will maybe link these below if you're interested. And I'll give you links to these. I will find the links that are most reasonably priced, so you're not spending a lot of money. Honestly, that $9 is a really good price for the universal yarns. And I think the Schoppel, the Zauberball, I think I found that cheapest on Webs, which is yarn.com. But I will post some links. Neither of these links are affiliate links. I am really reducing my work with affiliates. I'm just sticking to Mary Maxim and Premier Yarns. So if you see affiliates from anybody, it will be from them and Amazon. I have Amazon affiliates too, but yeah, I will link these below. Not affiliated. Bought these with my own money. I just wanted to play with them and test them out. And thank you so much for watching. If you've used either of these yarns, let me know your opinion and let me know what you made. So that's the Wacky Sake and the Schoppel Zauberball. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.